Hey everyone, before we dive into today's critical update, I need you to pay close attention because what I'm about to share could completely change your immigration timeline. The February 2026 Visa Bulletin just dropped, and for the first time in months, we're seeing something that's making thousands of applicants nervous. Retrogression in the EB1 category. Yes, you heard that right. Some visa categories are actually moving backwards. And if you're waiting for your green card, this affects you directly. So don't click away because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly where you stand, what's happening with your category, and most importantly, what you need to do right now to protect your immigration journey. Welcome back to US Visa Updates, your trusted source for breaking down the most complex immigration information into actionable insights that you can use today. I'm here to guide you through every twist and turn of the American immigration system. And today, we're tackling one of the most anticipated updates of the month, the February 2026 Visa Bulletin analysis. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because we release detailed breakdowns like this every single month, and you don't want to miss updates that could impact your green card timeline. Now, let's talk about what just happened. The State Department released the February 2026 Visa Bulletin, and the news is mixed. Some categories are celebrating forward movement, others are standing completely still, and unfortunately, some are experiencing retrogression, which means they're moving backward in time. I know that sounds frustrating, and trust me, I understand the anxiety that comes with seeing your wait time increase instead of decrease. But here's the thing. Understanding these movements, knowing why they happen, and learning how to navigate them is exactly what separates people who successfully get their green cards from those who get stuck in limbo for years. Every single month when the Visa Bulletin comes out, my team and I immediately analyze every single line, every single date change, and every implication for applicants across all categories. We publish a comprehensive written analysis on our blog, and then I bring you this video format because I know some of you prefer to watch and listen rather than read. The format I follow is incredibly organized and concise, giving you the absolute best summary available anywhere for understanding what the February 2026 Visa Bulletin means for your specific situation. Let's start with some good news for those of you currently inside the United States. USCIS has announced they will continue using the dates for filing chart for both employment-based and family-based categories. This is significant because the dates for filing chart is always more favorable, always faster than the final action dates chart. What this means in practical terms is that if you're adjusting status inside the United States, you can file your application earlier than those who are going through consular processing abroad. For example, in the F2A category for spouses and children of permanent residents, the wait time is literally under 1 month right now. Think about that. If you're married to a green card holder and you're legally present in the United States, you could potentially file for your green card with minimal waiting. That's extraordinary. And I'm genuinely hoping that USCIS maintains this policy throughout all of 2026. Now, let's dive into the employment-based categories because this is where we're seeing the most dramatic changes this month. The EB3 category for professionals and skilled workers, excluding India and China, has advanced by 5.7 weeks to June 1st, 2023. This represents steady forward progress, which is encouraging for applicants in this category. However, the real story this month is what's happening in the EB1 category. And I need you to pay very close attention here because this affects a significant number of highly skilled workers. EB1 for India and China has retrogressed by 2 weeks to August 1st, 2023. Let me explain what retrogression actually means because this term gets thrown around a lot and I want to make sure everyone understands it. Retrogression occurs when the demand for visas in a particular category dramatically exceeds the supply of available visa numbers. When this happens, the State Department has to pull the dates backward to slow down the processing and create more time for cases that are already in the pipeline. It's essentially a traffic control mechanism for the immigration system. The dates move backward to prevent the system from becoming completely overwhelmed. Now, before you panic, let me give you some context. This retrogression doesn't mean that EB1 India and China will stay at this backward position for the entire year. What it does indicate, however, is that there has been massive demand for EB1 visas, specifically from applicants from India and China over the last 6 months. The volume of applications has been so high that the system needs to pause and catch up. This is actually a reflection of how many talented, extraordinary individuals from these countries are seeking to immigrate to the United States, which in itself speaks to America's continued appeal as a destination for the world's best and brightest. Moving on to more positive news in the employment categories. The dates for filing chart shows that EB3 professionals and skilled workers, again excluding India and China, have advanced by a full 3 months to October 1st, 2023. This is substantial movement. And if you're in this category from a country other than India or China, you should be encouraged by this forward momentum. It suggests that the system is processing applications efficiently and that visa numbers are being used effectively. Now, let's shift our focus to the family-based categories because there's actually some really positive movement happening here, particularly for applicants from Mexico. The F1 category, which covers married sons and daughters of U.S. citizens, shows that F1 Mexico has advanced by 3.7 months to December 22nd, 2006. I know that date seems incredibly far back, and yes, the wait times in family-based categories remain frustratingly long, but forward movement is forward movement. And after years of near stagnation in some of these categories, any progress is worth celebrating. The F2B category for unmarried sons and daughters over 21 years of age shows that F2B Mexico has advanced by 3 months to February 15th, 2009. Again, we're seeing consistent movement for Mexican applicants, and this trend has been building over the past 6 months. The reason for this accelerated movement is actually quite straightforward. The U.S. embassies and consulates in Mexico have significantly increased their processing capacity. After years of pandemic-related backlogs and staffing challenges, these diplomatic posts have finally caught up on their workload and can now issue visas at a much faster rate. In the dates for filing chart, we're seeing even more encouraging news. F1 Mexico advanced by 3 months to December 1st, 2007. The F2A category for spouses and children of permanent residents shows that all countries will advance to January 22nd, 2026. Let me repeat that because it's so important. January 22nd, 2026. That means if you're married to a green card holder and you're currently legally present in the United States, whether on a tourist visa, student visa, or any other lawful status, you may be able to file for your green card with virtually no waiting period. This is an incredible opportunity, and I want to make sure everyone who qualifies takes advantage of it. The F2B category continues to show strong movement, with F2B Mexico advancing by 3 months to February 15th, 2010. The consistent progress in Mexican family-based categories reflects both improved consular processing and effective use of available visa numbers. Now, I want to take a moment to explain why understanding the Visa Bulletin is so critically important for your immigration journey. The Visa Bulletin is not just some bureaucratic document that gets published every month. It's actually a roadmap that tells you exactly when you can expect to receive your green card. It reflects the wait times for your specific category and priority date, and it gives you the information you need to plan your life, make career decisions, and understand when you can finally achieve permanent residence in the United States. Let's break down the final action dates for employment-based categories in more detail. The EB1 category for aliens of extraordinary ability shows that EB1 India and China remain at February 1st, 2023, while all other countries remain current. Being current means there's no waiting period at all. If you have an approved EB1 petition and you're from a country other than India or China, you can proceed with your green card application immediately. I believe that most countries will remain current throughout 2026 unless we see some unexpected surge in applications during the summer months. Based on current trends, I don't anticipate that happening. So, if you're an EB1 from a country other than India or China, you're in an excellent position. The EB2 category shows that EB2 India remains at July 15th, 2013. I know this date is difficult to see if you're an Indian applicant in EB2. Waiting over a decade for a green card is not what anyone dreams of when they come to America, but this is the reality of the per country cap system. EB2 China stands at September 1st, 2021, which is significantly more recent, and all other countries remain at April 1st, 2024. If you want a deeper dive into the EB2 situation, I strongly encourage you to go back and watch our January 2026 Visa Bulletin analysis, where I break down the historical trends and future projections for this category. The EB3 category for professionals shows EB3 India remaining at November 15th, 2013, EB3 China at May 1st, 2021, and all other countries advancing by 5.7 weeks to June 2023. I want to emphasize something important here. If you're in the EB3 category, you need to understand that we're going to see slow but steady movement going forward. We've been seeing consistent forward progress since approximately October of 2025, and I believe this trend will continue throughout 2026. It may not be rapid, it may not be as fast as you'd like, but movement is happening, and that's what matters. The EB3 Other Workers category, which is for unskilled workers, shows EB3 India at November 15th, 2013, EB3 China at December 8th, 2018, and all other countries at September 1st, 2021. The EB4 category for special immigrants, which primarily affects religious workers, is currently at January 1st, 2021. I need to be honest with you about EB4. This is going to be a long wait. If you're a religious worker and you have any alternative path to getting your green card, you should seriously explore it because the EB4 category is moving extremely slowly, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. The EB5 investor category shows EB5 India at May 1st, 2022, EB5 China at August 15th, 2016, and all other countries remain current. Despite some of the concerns and controversies surrounding the EB5 program over the years, it remains a viable category for those who qualify and can make the substantial investment required. Looking at the dates for filing chart for employment-based categories, we see that EB1 India and China have retrogressed by 2 weeks to August 1st, 2023. I anticipate that this retrogression will continue through the spring months of March and April 2026. However, I want to provide some perspective here. Even with this retrogression, August 2023 is still better than what we see in most other categories. It's certainly better than the 2013 dates that Indian applicants are dealing with in EB2. So, while retrogression is never welcome news, if you're eligible for EB1, it's still absolutely worth applying. You're still in a better position than many other employment-based categories. EB2 India remains at December 1st, 2013, EB2 China at January 1st, 2022, and all other countries at October 15, 2024. We're hopeful that we'll see some additional forward movement in the EB2 category in upcoming months. EB3 India is at August 15th, 2014, EB3 China at January 1st, 2022, and all other countries advance by 3 months to October 1st, 2023. This is good solid movement in the EB3 category, especially if you're currently in the United States on a different visa status and you're looking to adjust status and file for your green card. The EB3 Other Workers category matches January's dates with India at August 15th, 2014, China at October 1st, 2019, and all other countries at December 1st, 2021. EB4 remains at March 15, 2021, which, as I mentioned earlier, represents very slow movement for religious workers. EB5 shows no change with India at May 1st, 2024, China at August 22nd, 2016, and all other countries remaining current. Now, let's turn our attention to the family-sponsored categories because this is where we're actually seeing some of the most encouraging movement this month. The final action dates, which remember are the actual dates when you will receive your green card, show F1 Mexico advancing by 3.7 months to December 22nd, 2006. Mexico has been moving forward consistently for the past 6 months, and this represents real progress for Mexican families who have been separated by the immigration process. F1 Philippines stands at March 1st, 2013, and all other countries are at November 8th, 2016. The F2A category for spouses shows Mexico at February 1st, 2023, and all other countries at February 1st, 2024. This means that if you're a permanent resident and your spouse is from a country other than Mexico, your spouse could potentially receive their green card relatively quickly compared to other family-based categories. F2B Mexico advanced by 3 months to February 15th, 2009. F2B Philippines stands at December 22nd, 2012, and all other countries at December 1st, 2016. F2B is one of those categories where we're really seeing Mexico push forward significantly. And the reason, as I mentioned earlier, is that the embassies and consulates have caught up on their backlogs and now have much greater capacity to issue visas efficiently. The F3 category for married sons and daughters of U.S. citizens shows F3 Mexico at May 1st, 2001, F3 Philippines at March 1st, 2005, and other countries remaining at September 8th, 2011. The F4 category for brothers and sisters of adult U.S. citizens shows Mexico at April 8th, 2001, Philippines at July 22nd, 2006, India at November 1st, 2006, and all other countries at January 8th, 2008. I know many of you are asking why we're not seeing more movement in F3 and F4 final action dates. This is a question I get constantly, and I want to give you an honest answer. The backlog in these categories remains absolutely massive. The National Visa Center is simply not able to release cases at the rate they used to, which means visas aren't becoming available as quickly as applicants need them. This situation isn't going to change dramatically in the near future. As we move through spring and into summer, we might see some additional movement, but I don't want to give you false hope. The F3 and F4 categories are going to require patience and realistic expectations. The dates for filing chart presents a slightly different picture because these dates apply to people who are already inside the United States and can adjust their status domestically. F1 Mexico advanced by 3 months to December 1st, 2007. F2A for all countries advanced by 1 month to January 22nd, 2026. This is fantastic news for people who are here on tourist status or student visas and are married to green card holders. You'll be able to file for your green card inside the United States with only about a month's wait, which is remarkable. F2B Mexico advanced by 3 months to February 15th, 2010. Philippines stands at October 1st, 2013, and all other countries remain at March 15th, 2017. F3 Mexico remains at July 1st, 2001, Philippines at February 1st, 2006, and other countries at July 22nd, 2012. F4 for brothers and sisters shows Mexico at April 30th, 2001, Philippines at January 15th, 2008, India at December 15th, 2006, and all other countries at March 1st, 2009. Looking at the overall picture, Mexico is clearly the big winner this month in terms of forward movement. The Visa Bulletin model shows relatively little movement in some categories, but this is actually because we saw significant forward progress in the previous month. This is why I always encourage you to go back and watch our previous Visa Bulletin analyses. January 2026 showed a lot of movement, and it's difficult to replicate that same level of progress month after month. The system needs to balance the number of visas that have been issued against the number of people who have moved forward in the queue. China and India consistently remain behind other countries in most categories, and this is simply a reflection of the enormous number of applications coming from these two countries. The per-country cap system, which limits the percentage of visas that can go to any single country, means that high-demand countries like India and China face significantly longer wait times. The Visa Bulletin reflects this reality every single month. As we look ahead to the rest of 2026, I want to share some thoughts on what we might expect. Based on historical patterns, we typically see more movement after April. The government's fiscal year runs from October through September, and visa allocation follows that cycle. As we move into the second half of the fiscal year, there's often more flexibility and more visas become available, which can lead to categories like F2B and even F3 moving forward by 2 or even 3 months at a time. I'm cautiously optimistic that we'll see this pattern repeat in 2026. For those of you who are feeling discouraged by long wait times or frustrated by retrogression, I want you to remember something important. The American immigration system, despite all its flaws and frustrations, still processes millions of applications successfully every year. People do get their green cards, families do get reunited, skilled workers do achieve permanent residence. Yes, it takes longer than anyone wants. Yes, it's more complicated than it should be, but if you stay informed, if you maintain your status, if you keep your documentation current, and if you work with qualified immigration professionals, you will get through this process. Understanding the Visa Bulletin is just one piece of your immigration puzzle, but it's a critical piece. Knowing where you stand, knowing what to expect, and knowing when to take action can make the difference between success and unnecessary delays. This is why we create these detailed analyses every single month. This is why US Visa Updates exists, to give you the information you need, explained in a way that actually makes sense so you can make informed decisions about your immigration journey. As we wrap up today's analysis, I want to remind you that immigration policy can change, processing times can fluctuate, and unexpected developments can alter the landscape quickly. This is why staying connected with reliable sources of information is so important. Make sure you're subscribed to US Visa Updates so you don't miss our monthly Visa Bulletin breakdowns, our policy update videos, and our practical guides to navigating specific immigration challenges. I want to hear from you in the comments below. Tell me what country you're from, what visa category you're in, and where you are in your immigration process. Are you stuck waiting for a priority date to become current? Have you already filed for adjustment of status? Are you frustrated with how slowly your category is moving? Let me know, because I read every single comment, and your feedback helps me understand what topics I need to cover in future videos. Your experiences and questions guide the content we create. So please share your story. If you found this video helpful, and I really hope you did, please give it a thumbs up. It helps the YouTube algorithm show this content to other people who need this information. Share this video with anyone you know who's going through the immigration process. Knowledge is power, and the more people understand how the Visa Bulletin works, the better equipped they'll be to navigate their own immigration journeys successfully. Thank you so much for watching US Visa Updates. I know that dealing with immigration uncertainty is stressful. I know that waiting for your green card can feel endless, but you're not alone in this process. We're here to help you understand every development, every change, and every opportunity that comes your way. Stay informed, stay patient, and stay hopeful. Your American dream is worth the wait, and we'll be here every step of the way to guide you through it. Until next time, take care, and I'll see you in the next video with more immigration updates that you need to